I thought you said you spoke to her, Alora. Chio chastised the Eladri.
I did, but there's more to it than Luvia being pushy. When she kissed him in the lecture theatre and I spoke to her afterwards, Luvia told me she was under duress and told me the details. I'm guessing things have gotten worse for her.
Guys? Nika spoke up, after noticing something different. I think we've got a bigger problem on our hands now. Jack? I'm sorry, Luvia called out as she made it to the house, finding the living room empty except for a few people watching TV, but she spotted movement down one of the corridors heading towards the spare garage, and quickly followed after him, dismissing the lack of scent as she saw the door at the far end close. I don't know how your courting rituals work, but I've just received a message from my father and I really need to... She quickly sped down the corridor and opened the door, entering the garage at the end. It was a mostly empty room. Looking around, she spotted Jack at the end with his arms crossed in a relaxed pose. He had a blank expression on his face, just looking at her. Jack? Luvia asked, confused. He didn't respond, just looking at her with that same blank expression. Say something! He didn't. He just kept staring at her without moving. Please, Jack, talk to me! Luvia sighed, as she slowly walked up to him, before sharply stopping, realizing something. As well as the lack of scent, he had just gotten out of the hot tub, and the floor was bone dry. She took the last few tentative steps forward, realizing the deception as her claw passed through Jack's arm as he stood there motionless. A hologram. What? Luvia muttered to herself, her gaze focusing on the drone hovering in the corner projecting the image, before suddenly snapping her head around as the sound of 2 plasma bolts bounced off the nearest wall, ricocheting off the ceiling before smacking into the dragon's snout. Her natural resistances as a dragon meant she didn't suffer any serious injuries, but it still hurt. Oh! Luvia snarled, as she looked to the source, rubbing her snout. What the hell, Scifi? I could ask you the same thing, Scifi snarled from where she had been hiding in the corner behind the door. You think I'm going to let you ruin everything? What? Luvia gasped, looking more confused than hurt. Scifi, That boy is everything to me, Scifi growled. And the others. They're all family to me, and you've been trying to tear it apart. Luvia scoffed. No, Scifi, that's not what I'm trying to do at all. Look, let's just calm down and find Alora so we can... Alora told you to stop and you didn't, Scifi interrupted. Please, Scifi, you're overreacting. Let's just... Luvia tried. Don't patronize me, you whore, Scifi snapped. Or what? Luvia then angrily snapped back, her blood running red-hot with the insult, as she took an aggressive step forward. She stopped, as she saw Scifi give a slight smirk. On the cusp of her hearing, Luvia heard a new sound, like an electrical device being activated, as she looked down. Stuck to the dragon's lycra shorts was a small dark sphere that suddenly blinked a blue light of activation. Or this, Scifi calmly responded, as the cryo-grenade detonated. Luvia roared out in agony as she was suddenly blasted with an explosion of icy wind, falling to the floor as her limbs locked up, fighting to breathe as the air was taken out of her lungs by the cold. Maybe that'll teach you to cool off, Scifi began, as she paced around the dragon. Luvia shut her eyes, desperately trying to shut out the sheer pain of the cold, and quickly focused on her breathing. Maybe she had crossed the line with Jack in her desperation, but Scifi had just crossed one with her too. Breathing in and out, she quickly focused her breathing, snapping her eyes open as she opened her mouth and shot a gout of flame at the Skritter, who was nimble enough to dodge the worst of it as it smacked into the far stone wall, but seeing the grimace on Scifi's face, Luvia knew that some of it had hit. You bitch! The dragon gasped, in between pained breaths, as she managed to get herself up and launched at the Skritter. Scifi fired 2 ricocheting shots off the ground to slam into Luvia's chest, throwing the dragon off balance, but it was not enough to stop her colliding with Scifi. They both slammed into the far wall, with Luvia's punch catching Scifi in the stomach, causing her to bend over, before the Skritter used the momentum to headbutt Luvia on the snout. Enraged, Luvia's claw slashed out and caught Scifi on the shoulder. The Skritter flew back, then suddenly pushed off of the wall with a spinning kick that caught Luvia in the face. You'll pay for that! Luvia roared. Not before I kick your ass! Scifi yelled back, as she moved in for another punch, before an unseen force suddenly held her in her tracks, followed by a blast of telekinetic power that sent her flying back. It's all in! Allura cried out, as several chains of light sprang up to ensnare Luvia, who snarled as she fought to try and free herself, breaking one of the chains. Scifi quickly recovered from Chio's attack, dodging the telekinetic follow-up and blasting 2 ricocheting plasma shots towards the Ilithi. They weren't aimed to hit Chio, but they were enough to break her concentration as they whizzed past her head. No! Scifi yelled, as a pink furred figure rushed her, predicting her attempt to dodge, as Nika tackled her to the ground. I'm not done! Yes you are! The Kizzen told the Skritter, as Nika got Scifi into a rear choke, keeping her voice as soothing as she could as she tried to calm her friend down. Come on, please. I know you can try and fight out of this, but it's me. You know you need to calm down and stop. You think these chains will hold me, Allura? Luvia roared. I will... Suddenly, the dragon found she couldn't move as she found herself mostly enveloped in a bundle of rocks and earth that snapped her more shut. I know, Allura sighed patiently. I was just stalling you. Thank you for the aid of your earth spirit, Sail. No problem. The little scorecard chirped up, entirely too smugly for the situation. Don't worry, Luvia. I promise I won't tell anybody about this, so please don't eat me. The dragon tried to mutter in return. Sorry, Luvia, but I'm not taking any chances with your flame breath, Allura sighed. Once we've all calmed down, we'll let you go. What the fuck's going on? Jack's voice yelled out, as he suddenly rushed into the room, gun raised. I go to the bathroom for 5 minutes and I hear a fucking riot happening downstairs. Funny, you usually take longer, Chio quipped, but dropped the humour when the others gave her unappreciative looks for trying to lighten the mood. Scifi and Luvia got into a fight, Allura sighed. Honestly, Scifi, how did you even pull this off? Had one of my remaining drones pick up my stuff remotely and had them bring it here, the Skritter replied nonchalantly. Had the other one scan Jack as he went to the bathroom for the hologram. Why? Jack asked. You freaked out from Luvia doing something Lou, so she needed an ass whooping. Scifi spoke up from where she was being held on the floor. Allura told her to cut her shit before and she didn't, so I figured I'd do it my way instead. God fucking damn it! Jack then yelled out, in a roar of frustrated anger that caused everyone to stop what they were doing to look at him. I'm sorry I reacted badly back there, but I don't need anyone to fight these kinds of battles for me. Really? Scifi yelled at him, returning the anger, and now it was Jack that was put off guard. You didn't say anything, you didn't do anything, and I thought the worst. You're too damn polite and passive to speak up about it. That's not true, Jack retorted just as angrily. I just needed to take a breather. After coming back, I would have spoken to Luvia privately, not fucking attack her. Why are you siding with her against me? Scifi snarled. I'm not! Jack roared out. I'm not picking sides because we should all be on the same one. We're all meant to be friends here, so whatever this beef is, we're squashing it right now. Everyone else was silent as they all looked at him. He had never shouted at them like that before, and for a moment he regretted doing so as he looked at their expressions. Scifi was hurt, Allura was shocked, Chio was surprised, and Nika just stared at him, stoic and unblinking. When I got here, I had nothing, Jack began, finding his words as he addressed all of them. I was a dead man walking, and I just resolved to just carry on going until something killed me. And then I met good people. I met all of you. He made a point to look to Luvia too as she lay on the ground, and Vanya from where she was looking in from the garage door, where a crowd had gathered. You all convinced me that there were good reasons to keep on living, and you all gave me the support I needed despite me never asking for it, and that is something I can never repay you for, he continued. So I won't let you fight amongst yourselves like this. Luvia, I know Allura spoke to you about being too pushy, and I already agreed to go on a date with you, so what's really going on here? He looked down to see tears in Luvia's eyes, as Zale's Earth Spirit let her go. I'm sorry, everyone. I know I've been shameful, but I've received demands from my father, and I'm desperate, she began, looking at the ground. My grandfather has decreed that the dragons of the Red Legion should increase our numbers due to taking wartime losses, and as a result, my father has been insisting that I find a mate and has threatened me with arranged suitors that I want nothing to do with." Luvia sighed, her voice shaking with emotion. "He just wants to use me as cattle for political gain." "Wait, what?" Jack began, shocked. "He wants you to repopulate? But you're the same age as me, sort of. I don't know what dragon years are like." Luvia nodded with a drawn-out sigh. "Then refuse! That's insane!" Jack exclaimed, but Luvia shook her head. "I have refused, but I need to be seen obeying the spirit of order, as I am considered of age for my kind, or the Red Legion will take action against me. That's why I've been trying to court you. Even if you didn't have a harem of your own, I would have pursued you. If I had a suitable mate close at hand, my father would not be in a position to question it." "Why haven't you told us this before?" Jack asked. "I told Allura," the dragon retorted. "And at the time, my father wasn't being nearly as pushy as he is now."
"It's true," Allura confirmed. "But, Luvia, why didn't you speak to Jack about this?"
"I was going to after courting him," the dragon countered. "But I've been trying to work out how since he hasn't been receptive to my actions." "I agreed to a date," Jack pointed out. "Hell, I'm out of depth with that as it is." "Wait a moment," Luvia began, her eyes widening with realization. "You've all been involved with him for a few months at least. Have you not broken him in?"
"Luvia!"
Allura yelled at the dragon, as everyone firmly looked away from one another in embarrassment, with Jack's face turning scarlet. "Oh, I see. I suppose that explains why," the dragon sighed. "Jack, I truly am sorry. I assumed being in a harem as you are, you had already—" "No, we haven't," Jack snapped, not wanting the dragon to finish the sentence. "Look, I have no idea where this is going to go," Jack began. "But surely at the very least we could just be seen together like normal people, so your father leaves you be? Isn't that what we were already going to do? At least now I'm clued in just in case there are any problems." "Oh," Luvia began, as she quickly thought about it, having now calmed down to see things more rationally. "Very well, that could work." "And Scifi?" Jack sighed, turning to the scritter, who also couldn't meet his gaze. "You know I always appreciate you having my back when we're in a hot spot, but you shouldn't have attacked Luvia. There are better ways to solve disputes, especially among friends." "I'm sorry, Jack," the scritter reluctantly answered. "With the way she was acting, I just thought she was trying to ruin everything between us and needed her ass kicked." "I know," Jack nodded, before letting out a harsh chuckle. "Jesus, I knew this was all too good to be true," he thought to himself. "I was dumb enough to think this would be like one of those stupid harem animes, and everyone would suddenly be cool with everything, but this was the reality check I needed. Maybe we need to put a hold on us being more than just friends." Jack finally sighed, looking at all of them. "We've gone into this way too fast. I mean, hell, I've known all of you for, what, a few months? Stuff like this should take time, and I don't think we're ready to take things further. Nothing wrong with us going on dates and fooling around as kids our age do, but taking things further should wait until we're all ready to make that decision together as adults." "I agree with Jack," Chio added. "There was something I saw in the fog that made me realize I'm not in a good headspace for whatever this is between us." "I wasn't expecting things to get super serious," Nika admitted. "You're still not adjusted to life here, Jack, so yeah." "In that case," Allura spoke up, before looking to both Scifi and Luvia, "I think you two have something you need to say to one another." "I'm sorry for attacking you, Luvia," Scifi sighed, as she looked the dragon in the eye. "I didn't know you were having problems with your family, causing you to act that way." "And I'm sorry for giving you cause," the dragon returned miserably. "I should have just been open with all of you from the start, and now I've probably ruined things." "We'll see," Jack sighed. "Let's just drop this now. I'm exhausted, sick and hurt, and I wasn't actually kidding when I said I needed to go to the bathroom."
"Well, now that we've calmed down," Allura continued, as the tension between them all finally cooled off, "perhaps we can return to the tub?"
After bidding Luvia farewell with a promise to call later, Allura sighed.
"Well, tonight's been eventful."
"No shit," Scifi sulked. Don't be like that. Nika chuckled under her breath, patting the scritter on the shoulder. It's squashed now. We can all be friends again. True, but it does mean I'll be spending all night in the hot tub. Scifi sighed. This burn fucking hurts. That's what you get for starting a fight like that, Chio chided. Honestly, what were you even thinking? Kick the dragon's ass for acting like one? Scifi chuckled with dry humour. Yeah, it wasn't the best plan, come to think of it. From the looks of it, you did pretty well, Jack snorted with amusement, before getting serious. Look, everyone, I'm sorry for not speaking up when I should have. It's fine, the scritter sighed, speaking the truth. We'll work it all out with time. And time is something we're going to have a lot of, Alora pointed out, as they all sat down on the sofa with their bags. Which is why we're going to tally up our reward. We've got 60,000 in Corv coin from the main objective, Nika began, sliding the chips across the table. Half of that is in scrip, so we're limited on where we can spend it. Plus we obtained 5,000 in scrip in advance, Chio added. How much of that have we spent? About 2,000 on quality gear for the run, Scifi answered, bringing up the receipts. But very little of that was perishable and most of it is intact, so the value carries over, and we have another 3,000 in what we didn't use before the run. We've got 20,000 Corv coin from giving Corvin Enterprises the information on the area they wanted, Jack spoke up next, including details on what happened at their outpost, and how some of it matches with other sites in the area, and what we told them about the threat. And another 5,000 for the sample of the fungus we agreed to sell to them, Chio added. Though I still had other samples we gave to the Green Wardens and the Temple of Hope for study, so Corvin Enterprises will be unlikely to profit from it. Yeah, I think that fawn-like woman seemed way too interested in it, Jack noted. Maybe we shouldn't have sold it to her. I don't think it makes a difference, Alora shrugged. They're heading over there anyway, so if anything, we just got them a sample a week or a few days early. Fair enough, Jack shrugged, conceding the point. What else? Caldra promised 5,000 in Corv coin for burying his mother's remains, Alora began, but he gave us 10,000 instead for coming to our rescue. Unusually generous for a corpo, Scifi quipped. Don't think he would have been petty enough to try and stiff us based on a technicality. It's how noob clients tend to get their asses geeked. Say what you want about the guy, but he's definitely hired runners before. Makes you think why he decided to go with a new group for something like this, Chio pointed out. He also gave us the 2 magical items he promised for the return of the bone pendant, along with a bonus ring. What are they? Jack asked. I'll admit I kind of blanked out for most of the talking, since I was more focused on watching out for threats. That's okay, Alora smirked. The first is a pair of magical braces that make your arms stronger. Lifting, pulling and pushing are especially easier, though it can help in unarmed combat too. And now they're mine, Nika grinned, showing the fingerless dark leather gloves on her hands. The power gloves are going to be dead useful. We also have the cloak of the Earthwalker, Alora added, pointing at the shimmering green fabric they chucked onto one of the chairs. Obvious druid thing he must have used at some point, and if there's no objections, I wish to claim it for myself. I found myself stumbling a lot during our trip through the wilderness, and wearing this means it won't happen again, if we end up wading through hard-to-pass places. It can also let me teleport at short range once a day, as long as I can see where or if a friend is nearby, but that only works if it's on natural ground, so not in the city. Nice, Jack grinned. And what about the ring? I've got that too, Nika confirmed. Ring of quickness for me to move faster on my feet. You only got that because you're shorter than the rest of us, Scifi laughed, with Nika giving her the finger. And we picked up a few things when we were at the shrine, Chio added, though much of it was used in the fighting. Alora picked up a staff of lesser weather control that might help us a little with our water situation, if it can summon rain. I got a ring of marking. Jack got a stupidly powerful gun that we can't find ammo for. And we got some potions of barkskin, Alora added, along with a few others Alessandra said we could take back with us as a reward. We took some of the better bows with us, Jack added, just in case we ever need weapons that won't make any noise or flash. And I picked up some cool knives, Scifi added. You sure did, Nika grinned. So, the total?
100,000 in Corv coin, including scrip and advance payments, as well as the magical items previously mentioned. Not only that, but also the bounties for the Redeemer and several of his associates, Chio concluded. Nobody spoke for several moments. Though Jack wasn't familiar with the currency, the looks he saw on the others' faces were all varying degrees of shock, disbelief, and amazed, cheerful awe. Finally, it was Nika who spoke up. "Guys?" the Kism began in a gasp. "I'm gonna come,"